All right, so today we are doing some prep work and some waterproofing on these stem walls you can see behind me here. This is on a custom home, and I want to show you how this is done. So if you're having a house built or you're getting ready to build a house, make sure you're actually doing it correctly. So let's get going. All right, so we're down here next to this footing in this stem wall now, and you can see this here. And you can see the caulking that's on the wall here, and this is a sealant that's actually waterproofing this. This is on the snap ties where they actually hold this form. They put ties through this form all the way on the other side. So on this side, you actually see the snap ties. You see that line there? That's what we're covering up with this. It's the metal ties, and we're waterproofing that over here. So none of this, so the moisture comes down here, it doesn't chase those ties through the wall, and you get moisture on the other side. So it's really common down here at the cold joint where this footing meets the bottom of the wall. So you can get moisture to come in here, it'll come down, it sits on the top of the footing, and then it'll actually run in. So on the corner of the building, there was a snap tie down at the bottom, or it's like a cleat or a pin that they put at the bottom. And that area, when we were pressure washing this wall, it sat on top of this footing, and then the water just ran and just all the way inside, and it puddled up on the inside of this down below on the footing on the inside. So it was an easy route for the water to get in there. So this is a critical spot to make sure that if you're building a home, that this thing gets waterproofed. And what you want is you actually want to use a tool in here to get a cant, about a 1-inch cant on this, like a bevel on this this joint, and then you want to run it up the wall. You're going to actually tie this other material in and go up the wall, and I'll show you that on the other side how that ends up working. The other thing you want to do is you want to go through in any little spots that have like honeycombs that you can see up above here, some little bits of honeycombing here that are, you know, it's a dime size or bigger, and you can even go smaller if you want, but you want to fill those in with this caulking. And the caulking that we're using, it's made by Tremco. I'm going to put it out here in front here, but this is a Dynamic 100, and this is a really good polyurethane sealant. You can see that here on it, and it's good for movable joints. So it comes in a sausage tube, and that's what we're using in a sausage gun, and applying that around the whole perimeter of this footing. And prior to actually doing all that, what we've done, and you can see here the grinding marks on the side, we went down and we had a cup wheel on a 4.5-inch grinder, and we went through and we actually cleaned off all of the rough spots, and then we went through and we plugged all the honeycombing that needed to be plugged, plus caulked all these snap ties all the way down to keep any water from getting in, as well as this joint, the cold joint, down at the bottom of the wall. So all this prep work is done. We snap a line right here, which is actually where we're going to put what's called a termination bar. This is a termination bar here, and this it has pre-drilled holes on it. It's aluminum, so it doesn't rust below grade. And this will actually go, it sits and holds the drain board against the wall. So because we put a protectant board against this, which I'll show you in another video as we're putting it on, but this is it's going to follow that line, and that's where we're going to waterproof to that point. And then our protectant board comes up, stops here, and the turn bar sits here. We anchor that on with Tapcons, and then that goes around the side. All right, so as I come over here, you can see these penetrations come through the wall. This is for a sewer clean out that'll be tied on later. And there's a couple different colors of caulking here, the gray, and also I think it's the charcoal or the black color, that Tremco Dynamic 100, the Demonic 100. That's the material here that you can see. And you have to do a solid grout behind this, and you could put, we took these pipes, we sleeved them, and then we came through here with a rapid set mortar, cementol mix, and we put that inside this joint, and we locked in this pipe so it's totally solid behind all of this caulking, and then we put the sealant on there. That's recommended by Tremco to make sure that with this application. There's another product, I think it's called Quick Seal, or Quick Link is what it is, Quick Link, and that's a nice, you can actually core afterwards, and that will tighten up and actually fit. You can put the pipe through here so you get an outside diameter. It's another way to do it, and then you don't have to do this caulking. But this is the way, if you're gonna do it without those, you have to have solid grouting all the way around these pipes so they don't move. And then you have to tool this material, this Tremco Dimonic 100 all the way around these guys, about 2 inches. They want them, these pipes set about 2 inches apart so you can get the tooling in between them and make sure it's waterproof out. All right, so the waterproofing is actually going on the wall. The material that's going over the top of that Dimonic 100 is a Tremco product as well, and it's called a Tremproof 250GCR. That stands for roller applied. You can also trowel applied as well. But this product goes over the top of the Dimonic 100, and you can see that here, and it needs to go on within about 60 mils is what you're hunting for when you're putting this on, and you can see this getting applied. Now this is still wet, and you've got to go back and afterwards, and you kind of back roll it after you go through once, and then make sure you got any little divots or holes that are in there, and make sure that that's taken care of. So this is the cold joint. You can kind of see the cocking of the Dimonic 100 behind it. And then we've rolled it down the face of this footing just a little bit, probably 3 or 4 inches. All right, so we're gonna show you this tomorrow, but what we're actually gonna be doing here is we're gonna be putting on what's called a Jdrain, and I think it's an SWD 6-inch, and that material sits right here at the bottom of where the footing meets the wall, and then that allows the water to come down this drain board on this drain plane, and then it goes out, and then we can actually dump it out. It converts over into a 4-inch pipe and goes around. So we do that. We're going to do another one down here. It has filter fabric on it. We're going to do one down right here as well at the top of this footing and down 6 inches, and that acts as like a French drain. So when it goes out, it already has filter fabric on it, so you don't have to do you don't have to put like 4-inch pipe in here. We just terminate, we drop it all out on that other end. It's going to daylight out, and it'll go over and out with the gutters, but the gutters tie in after this dumps out, but it's going to go down this drain here and out to a pit that we actually did. So let's get like a leach field almost that we dug for the gutters and this foundation drain that has a T inspection in it. So if you look here as well, this is kind of looking down at, you can see the consistency of this material as it goes on, and it'll actually show you here how it actually goes on here. It's being applied. So you put it on nice and thick. If you go to about 90 mils, you'll start to see it run. So you want to make sure, you really want to get all of it in one application. Otherwise, you got to put a primer back on it to do double coat. So, and it's ideally, you can get the 60 mils you need on one coat just by putting it on nice and thick, making sure you're covering all the areas. You can see here, there's actually some spots here that need to go back over. This is little dimples that are still showing through, or like air pockets on the side here. So the other thing that's required is, this is a corner, outside corner. You see how it's nice and square up here? We chamfered this. They want a 3/4 to 1 inch chamfer on these outside corners where you're waterproofing to help you get more material around these corners, and that's what's been done on this area here. All right, well, I hope you learned something about waterproofing a foundation for a home that has a stem wall that's below grade. So it's really important. If you're building a home or you're buying a house, you got to make sure that this has been done right. So make sure if you're building building something new, you're talking to your builder and you're making sure that they're doing this properly. If you are buying a house, make sure during the inspection that you're actually going inside of this crawl space here, go through the floor and check it out and see if you have any water intrusion. So a lot of times you can see efflorescence that's inside, like on the inside of the walls, from mineral deposits moving through from water, from moisture being on the outside coming in. So check for that and make sure that that's not happening. See if there's any other leaks that are going on. So you want to make sure it's done correctly. So if you need help buying or selling real estate, go to freemansrealty.com. If you need help building a custom home, go to freemansconstruction.com. Thanks again for watching.